Hey, you guys, this is Tamiya Robles, credit repair specialist, expert, host of Coast to Coast Credit Podcast, owner of FixMyCreditNow50.com. Welcome, welcome. So, right now, I'm going to do a reaction video again on another news clip. This is by WBTV. I'll put the link in the description. Where basically they're talking about the government warning you about debt relief programs such as credit repair companies, debt consolidation companies, and we're going to go over that. I'm going to play the video, react to it, and give my personal opinion, especially since they're talking about my field and my industry. So I feel that I should be commenting. And again, a lot of y'all do come to me from debt consolidation companies, and some of you guys did come from other credit repair companies and got scammed. So hopefully this video will help you. So let me share my screen with y'all and let's go right into it. Actually, I was watching a little bit of the whole thing.
For Americans' credit card balances surpassed $1 trillion in 2023, according to data released by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. As we're all assessing the damage to our credit cards after our holiday spending, some of you may be considering getting help. But our national consumer investigator, Rachel DePompa, spoke to experts who warn about an uptick in scams related to credit repair and the debt relief industry.
I like a visual, so I keep a spreadsheet. I've not historically been great at financial matters, which is why I got into debt.
Isabel Patterson.
I track all of my open accounts.
Okay, so briefly, I'm going to say this. What she's doing is great. She recognizes that she has an issue with her finances, and she's doing something about it. She's being proactive. So that's excellent. We all need to get into that. It's a process, it's a learning curve, but it's good to take that first step. So far, so good.
Now an expert at keeping tabs on where every dollar goes.
Every open bill that I have.
But it didn't start out that way.
The way that I struggle with money is just credit cards are not a friend.
She learned that after she racked up more than $25,000 in credit card debt. And Patterson is not embarrassed. In fact, she says more of us need to talk about our financial mistakes.
I do agree with that. A lot of my clients have been embarrassed, and they're in the situation that they're in right now because they didn't seek help. They didn't ask questions. And like she said, they were embarrassed. She was embarrassed. So eventually, what most people do, they wait till it's too late or their credit has gotten really bad, and then they start seeking help.
You need to normalize that it's okay to talk about making better financial decisions for yourself.
2 years ago, Patterson turned to a nonprofit credit counseling service. She's now just a few months away from paying off all her credit.
So the nonprofit that she probably went through is more than likely HUD. HUD is a nonprofit organization, and they have a certain section regarding credit repair. The only reason why I know this is because I'm considering being part of HUD, just so I can reach more people on a ground level, a local level. So yeah, that's good. They have a lot of credit counselors there, which are usually credit repair experts.
How does that feel?
Amazing.
But not everyone has a positive experience like Patterson, especially right now with millions of Americans drowning in debt. Multiple government agencies and the BBB are warning consumers to be careful when reaching out to the debt relief industry.
A new report by the Better Business Bureau finds some companies fail to deliver on big promises. The BBB warning about a pattern of misleading and sometimes fraudulent claims, with consumers making more than 11,000 complaints. Last year, the FTC went after 7 companies, from an alleged student loan debt relief scammer and phony debt service robocalls to a bogus credit repair scheme.
Do you all worry?
Yeah, so we all should be familiar with that. If you have followed my story, followed me on my social media platforms, you know that that is why I started my Facebook groups, because most of my clients have been scammed before, and I wanted to create basically a safe place. That's why I teach credit education. Anytime with any industry, there's going to be some sort of scam going on. We as credit repair specialists, experts, we get it the worst because there's a lot of scams within this industry. And I know that already. With the student loan thing, um, it's it's just another situation where you can get scammed. I mean, it's a lot of money involved. There's people that don't want to apply for things on their own, like doing the debt consolidation. I'm sorry, not debt consolidation, the loan forgiveness, discharge. There's different forms. It can be hectic. There's businesses that are legit, like myself. Like I do help with student loan debt and discharge and things like that. But yes, you do have companies that will try to scam you, especially with Biden forgiving all of the student loans. They're just trying to find a way in. It's a hustle. Just be careful. But we're not all bad.
About scammers.
Oh yeah, I get calls all day long from folks that have like, I got a phone call from this agency and they want to help me with my debt.
Marla Puckett is a certified credit counselor with Money Management International, the place Isabel Patterson turned to for help.
We've had a 45% increase of clients
Okay, so she didn't go through HUD. She went through this company.
coming to us from this point last year.
Our national investigative team analyzed hundreds of cases against debt relief companies and found since 2005, the FTC's banned more than 400 companies and individuals from assisting with any form of debt relief. The data shows nationwide more than 500,000 consumers were affected by those banned companies.
So yeah, that's alarming. That's alarming. Again, like I said, I knew this industry was shady. And this is proof positive right here. It is curious to me though, because I also have people, customers that will complain. And every business, you have customers that complain. And some of them are just not, they're not real complaints. So I'm curious to know about some of those cases. But in another reaction video, I'm going to show you about one that was confirmed. It was confirmed that this person was shady and ran the shady industry. But as far as all these cases are concerned, that's a lot. It's a lot. I'm curious to see what states they're in. I would love to see the numbers to that.
The federal government returning more than $41 million in stolen money. Puckett says a lot of people filing complaints about the debt relief industry ended up using a for-profit company.
They do the dispute, it drops off the credit report. 6 months later, it magically appears back on the credit report. And then you're right back where you started with less money in your pocket because you paid this organization to.
Okay, so I love to hear that type of shit. That has nothing to do with the collection. I'm sorry, that has nothing to do with the credit repair company. I'll speak for myself. It's a way you dispute things. If you're a factual disputer, this shouldn't happen. But the reality is, it can happen. Anytime you dispute anything on your credit report, you have rights, and so does the data furnisher. If you've been following my clips and my podcasts and my videos, I'm showing you about your rights as a consumer and what should and shouldn't be on your credit report. But the data furnishers also have rights as well. What is supposed to happen when you dispute is an investigation is supposed to be done. The data furnisher has the option to do nothing, to update the information, or to delete it from your credit report. So if they choose to delete it, cool, but they can put it back as long as they're reporting information that is 100% accurate and it does not violate your rights under the FCRA. So for her to word it like this, like, oh, you're paying these people to remove your debt, and then 6 months later it comes back on, that has nothing to do with the credit expert unless they did something wrong. If they did something completely wrong, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the legitimate companies, because there are legitimate credit repair companies out here. I'm not talking about the debt consolidation companies because I think they're trash personally. I don't think they're beneficial. But credit experts such as myself that dispute in certain ways, number one, I don't have my clients complain on about accounts coming back on unless they're not unless they're doing something shady. And that's why I hired Shiva. Not, I didn't hire him, he's on the team now. Like, I partnered up with Shiva, our attorney, and I did a video on that, because if something like that were to happen, they're more than likely violating your rights and they need to be sued, and people just don't like to sue. What this lady's talking about, she's not being 100% accurate. But let's see what else she has to say. Maybe she'll change my mind in the next few seconds.
Do that for you.
She says if a company asks you to stop paying your bills, that's a red flag. If they ask you for a large fee up front, red flag number 2.
Okay, we can get into that. We can get into that real quick. Okay, so if they tell you to stop paying your bills, I don't tell my clients not to pay their bill. What I do tell them is don't pay the collection agencies. That's what I say. Don't pay the collection agency. If your debt is already paid by a collection agency, why are you going to keep paying them and you have no contract with them? So I say that, but I will never tell my client not to pay a bill. I have a client now who is trying to purchase a home quickly. We had a conversation. We actually spoke for several hours. We had a really good conversation because she's close friends with one of the referral partners that I'm friends with. And she misunderstood. I told her, same thing I'm saying now, don't pay any of the collection agencies. Your debt is already paid. And she took it as, I'm not going to pay anybody. I'm not going to pay my credit cards. I'm not going to pay my regular bills. I'm not paying shit but my rent, right? So when I went to check her credit report the next month, I saw her utilization go all the way up. Her credit score dropped drastically. I'm seeing missed payments alerts left and right. And when I talked to her about it, she said, yeah, stop paying all my bills. I thought that's what you said. I'm like, no, pay them on time. Like, keep paying your bills. Just don't pay the collection agency. So I don't know what she's talking about, but only if she's right. If a shady company is telling you to do that, which I don't know why they would tell you that, because that doesn't impact them if you don't pay your bills per se, but I'm not a shady company, so I don't know. And then when they're saying they shouldn't ask you for a large fee up front. So I talk about this all the time. When you come to me, you're going to pay. Like, it's a service. It's a fee for service company. But the definition of large is questionable, because what is large for one demographic might not be large for another. For example, some states are naturally below the poverty line, like certain cities, certain towns. So if I say, let's say credit repair, you have to pay $200 to start, and that's not for credit repair, okay? Because the initial fee is not for a credit repair, because a credit repair specialist cannot charge you an upfront fee for credit repair. It has to be for something else. We're going to put a pin in that for a second. But if I'm saying, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, certain cities, and I'm saying, okay, you have to pay me $200 to start, that might be difficult. That might be deemed a large upfront fee for them, right? But if I go to New York, or I go to California, or even Texas, and I say, okay, it's $200 for the such and such fee, and then it's $50 a month or something for credit repair, whatever the situation may be. $200 is nothing for those states, even low income. Like, it's just, so for her to say, if they're asking for a large fee up front, what do you consider large? I've had people tell me $20 was too much. I'm saying, I heard someone say $500 is nothing. So for you to say a large upfront fee, no. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. And then if you really want a service and you're really trying to do something about it, and you're trying to invest in yourself, you're going to pay what you need to pay within reason. Within reason. When I do a consultation, I explain exactly what the charges are, what they're coming from. some items are harder to dispute than others, so they're going to take more time. But so it's going to cost a little bit more, not huge amount. But again, my rule of thumb is if you want me to remove hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of debt off your credit report so you can get more credit and get more money, if you don't want to pay for my services, then pay your debt and then wait 7 years, because now that you started the clock over, you got to wait. So pick a struggle.
The payment may seem lower than what you would get from, a credit counseling nonprofit, but their fees are substantially higher.
If the debt relief agency reaches out to you, that should be a warning. Ted Rossman, an analyst with Bankrate, also warns about for-profit debt relief companies.
I hear those ads too about, hey, do you want to get out of credit card debt for pennies on the dollar? It sounds tempting, but because of the credit score damage, it may not be worth it.
He says be careful about groups offering debt relief or debt settlement, asking you to stop paying, hurting your credit while they try to negotiate with the creditor.
Okay, so yeah, that's out of my league. That's not something I do. I didn't know it was a thing, even though my clients do come from debt consolidation companies. I never heard of that. But I also tell my clients they don't need to give me a whole backstory. So maybe if they did give me the backstory, I know. But yeah, that's bananas. Nobody should be saying that. Nobody should be seeking you, and that's odd. So yeah, that's not credit repair right here. That's some other shit.
Get online to look up any debt relief group you are thinking of signing up with and see what people are saying. To make sure you're looking at a legitimate company, watch for typos.
Yeah, be careful of that too. So keep in mind everybody's going to complain, but see if you can look past certain complaints. If everything is a complaint and it's just everywhere you go, it's trash, and this company's being trash, or the individual is being trash, and they're getting kicked out of groups, or you're in a group just posting the group, hey, have you heard anything about this person or this company? Because not every complaint is legit. Sometimes people complain because they just didn't like how that person talked or whatever. It had not, or a lot of times people get mad because they just really want you to do their credit for free. I was in a group today, and somebody posted that they needed a credit repair specialist, and somebody tagged me. One of my former clients from like 2 years ago. I get good reviews. Like, I don't know, like I got people in other groups that I'm not even assigned to that recommend me. And I went in and I also looked at the comments, and some other woman was like, oh, you could do your credit for free. You don't need all of this. And I can help with that. So she put her little plug in for sales. This is sales. So a woman came up and was like, great, I'm assuming this is for free. Why is everybody expecting things to be free? So a lot of complaints come from people that are expecting you to do their credit and fix it and remove debt, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of debt for free. And they get mad. So try to weed past that. But if overall you're seeing too many complaints, don't fuck with that company. Be careful with your money. Also, in my group credit and first time home buyers plug, I have 4 other groups, but that's my main group. I even encourage new people, post up. There's so many people in my group, and there's people watching and that are active. You can ask about me. You can post up, and I'll let it post. I rarely cancel people except if they're like ad is ghetto or something like that, or they're spamming people. But you can post up, hey, anybody know anything about Tamiya Robles? Is she legit? Is she full of shit? Let me know. But go ahead and do it.
Very few followers, and non-professional email addresses. For Isabel Patterson, credit counseling was a life changer.
How has this helped you?
Mentally, it's taken a lot of load off. It's helped me understand my own spending habits.
And thanks to spreadsheets, counseling, and sticking positive notes on her wall to keep her going, she now has a clear vision of her debt-free future.
Bride and groom got the wedding surprise of a
Okay, well, that was interesting. All right, so yeah, I mean, I said everything I needed to say. Just be careful. You do have to be careful. That's real talk. That's within any industry, though. I have a client now who's in the restaurant business, has nothing to do with credit, and he got scammed by one of his people. You just always have to be careful. Use common sense. Another thing you want to be careful of. Anybody can make reviews nowadays. It's nothing for Chat GPT to write up a review. So how I look for fake reviews is if it's all 5 stars, everything's positive, nothing's negative, then you know that they just made up these reviews and they're not real. I usually start from the lowest reviews and go backwards to see if it's legit. But if you see mostly all positive, that's probably a fake ass company or they're full of shit. So, but not here at fixmycreditnow850.com. But anyway, hopefully that was somewhat enlightening. Okay, hopefully that helps y'all. Leave a comment. Let me know what your experiences are. Even if you have experiences with me, I know a lot of y'all like me, but there's some people that got opinions about my services. Let me know. I'm okay with that, but definitely legit. And no, I'm not doing credit repair for free. Been there, done that. I've done free credit repair and people still complained about me. So nah. But be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Be sure I have to say this with all my videos now since I'm apparently confusing people. I do fix credit. If you need your credit repaired, you can definitely click on the link below and schedule a consultation with me, free for 30 minutes. And, let's get you fixed and ready to go. Check me out on all my platforms. It's in the description. In the meantime, I wish you guys the best of luck on your credit journey. Bye-bye.